Alright, welcome to another segment of Corrosive Politics. Today I want to get into something real quick, and people want to know, basically, Anonymous supposedly has filed with whitehouse.gov to protest the legality of DDoS, or distributed denial of service attacks. What a distributed denial of service attack is basically multiple machines controlled by multiple people are sending random traffic at a server, or in some cases very specific traffic at a server, to fill up its queue of available slots that it's able to handle at once. So if you have a website that can handle 100 people at once, they'll send 3,000 people as terms of how much traffic the site can handle to temporarily shut it down and bring it out of service. So they deny the general public service of that website. And they claim that this is hacktivism or activism. And there's so many things wrong with this statement. First off, the whole idea of hacktivist and hacktivism is just absolutely horrible. You know, mainstream media has killed the true meaning of the word hacker for years and years. And to call them hacktivists is just atrociously absurd. That is not what hacking is in any way, shape, or form. But they want to call them hacktivists, so we can't beat the mainstream media. We've learned that over the years. So we'll just talk against them, and hopefully we'll have at least a decent number of people who believe what's being said. But anyway, so we've got a few anons that are going on and on and on, saying that Anonymous didn't file for this protest. They're not trying to legalize DDoS, and whoever framed them is going to be punished. And this is by a guy named Anon Born on YouTube. And Anon Born is a complete moron, because he is supposedly a member of Anonymous, but for him to say that they were framed also shows that he's an idiot, because he doesn't understand the ideals of Anonymous. And the idea of Anonymous, and there's many ways to state it, but essentially Anonymous is a large group of people. Anyone can be so-called anonymous. Anyone can be a member. There's no way of signing up. You just act with the group. That's what Anonymous is, okay? It's a large group of people who decide to do something, and they all do it at once. And how you get things done in Anonymous is you essentially you get an idea, you put it out there, and if enough of these other members of Anonymous agree with it, then they all do it with you. So for this guy to say that he was framed and Anonymous didn't do this, he's an idiot, because he doesn't understand his own group's policies. Clearly, there's enough interest within Anonymous to want to file for this protest, and I can understand why they want this. Because the idea of using distributed denial of service, people consider it to be an online form of protest and activism. I understand where they're coming from there. That makes sense to an extent. Assuming you don't understand DDoS attacks fully, yeah, that makes sense. Because essentially the same way you would stand outside of a building and try to prevent people from wanting to deal with this business, a DDoS attack will forcibly shut down a website as long as it's being attacked and no one can access it. But that's not true activism. First off, because in a legal protest, you cannot prevent people from going into the building. Yet, with a DDoS attack, you are preventing people from going to a website. You don't give them the option. So it's not a form of protest, not really. Personally, I don't think it should be a felony, because that's what it is right now. It's actually a federal crime to commit a DDoS attack. It's considered cyber terrorism in many ways. I don't agree that the punishment should be that damn severe. They really shouldn't. But at the same time, it shouldn't be legalized. Because Anonymous seems to believe, as a whole, or as the majority, seem to believe that DDoS attacks do not harm the company physically. They do not harm the website. The only thing it does is no more or less than a regular protest would do in terms of costing them money. But that's not true. A DDoS attack is more of the equivalent of throwing rocks at a building. Because when you're protesting a real company, you're out there with picket signs, you're shouting what the problem is with the company, you're trying to prevent people from going to it. But with a DDoS attack, you're doing multiple things. You are stressing their server, you are preventing people from going into the business, not giving them any way, shape, or form the ability to even consider whether or not they want to go into that building. You're just not letting them. And even more so, most internet service providers and most web hosting providers will charge an overage fee if you exceed your bandwidth. or i.e., how much traffic can go through your website in a 1 month period. People will also charge, rather than charge you, they will shut down your website and they'll charge you a fee to reactivate it, or you have to wait until the next month. So really, a distributed denial of service attack costs the company lots of money because of, one, there's absolutely no way, shape, or form for a customer to get to them. Two, the people are no longer able to have their website up if they go over their bandwidth. And three, if the company charges an overage fee, they're being charged gross sums of money for these overage charges. So there's many problems wrong with it. It should not be legalized. It will not be legalized. I can guarantee that. But at the same time, I do believe that it should not be a felony. It is way too strict. It is way too harsh. When a 10-year-old can go on the internet and Google DDoS tool and start attacking a website and be charged with a federal crime, yeah, there's a problem with that. Yes, it's too strict. My main reason for starting this was to explain a little bit of DDoS and the fact that this guy is not a true Anon member. He can believe in it all he wants, but if he does not believe in the core value of Anonymous and how it is set up politically, then he has no clue what he's doing. Now, I'm sure I'll get some backlash from this. I'm sure that a lot of Anon members will be pissed at me. I'm simply stating the fact, okay? Anonymous is not set up in a way that one person says go and they all follow. It doesn't work that way. Any single member of Anonymous can suggest, support, or deny to do something. And if the majority of Anonymous members agree to do something and do it, then that is an action of Anonymous. It's not framing. The guy's an idiot. So Anonborn on YouTube has no clue what he's doing because he doesn't understand the values of the group that he's supposedly a member of. Being anonymous is simply saying, I agree with what you're doing and I'm going to do it with you. That's what Anon does. That's who they are. Comment all you want. I'd love to hear your feedback at corrosivepolitics.com. And by the way, if you guys think that you're going to do a denial of service attack on me, I'm hosted by Namecheap and I'm automatically forwarded to my YouTube page. So you might not want to attack YouTube or my domain provider because my URL does not go to a server. At least not my own server. So have fun with that. Have a great day. Feedback at corrosivepolitics.com.